2 minutes before like
I just put the going live thing in my chat. That's all.
yeah, sure. It's just sometimes for me I find it. Oh shit, I'm encroaching on the frame. Wait, where's that frame even coming from? Oh, the volume. Okay, that should be easier for me to manage. Sometimes I feel like when I look, I'll keep 3 monitor issues. Sometimes I'll look too far. I'll like look to the right. You'll be talking to me and it'll be on my 3rd monitor, so I'll be like, oh yeah, let's wow, that's good. Listening to the story, but looking in the complete opposite direction. Okay, but I feel like we're in enough that I can go ahead and get started on what I would call the intro. So, welcome everybody to FlexCast Episode 5, the podcast for streamers by streamers. And today, we're joined by none other than DrLogicall with 2 L's. DrLogicall has been a friend of mine for a very, very long time. I think it's fair to call him a very competitive gamer, but also an incredible brain. Honestly, the doctor's not too far off of really where he stands in real life, and we're going to be digging into the first 5 questions, which you guys know is the tradition with the podcast. Everybody has to answer them, and it really gives us a good idea as to who he is and what is going on. But then we're going to start digging into some more things that I personally know about him. A little bit of backstory. I don't get to say this during every podcast, but you did hear it probably during the Dre podcast. We go way back. Ty and I, DrLogicall, you'll probably hear me call him Ty a couple of times. We go back so very far. Just years and years and years of friendship and camaraderie and content creation. And I remember one of my first memories was actually visiting them, and we ended up playing Hearthstone for like 12 hours straight on the same bed, three grown men. So, gaming and especially PC gaming with these guys helping give me my first ever PC. I said that during the Dre one, but he is the other culprit there. It definitely is a long-standing thing. So Ty, first and foremost, how are you, brother?
I'm good. It's caught me at a pretty good time to get me to do this because of just everything going on in my life. So it's been good. Good week.
Oh, we're gonna get to that stuff. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Because I want to celebrate your successes, but also talk about kind of some of the stuff that got us there. So
Sure.
I think I'll break right into question number 1 of the main 5 questions. You guys have heard them a million times before. It's not just one question. It's a question that usually cascades. So imagine it's 1, but there's also 1A and 1B, right? So there's 5 main questions. Number 1, though, what got you into gaming in the first place, right? What was the game or games that made you go, I'd like to do this for a long time?
I don't know if it's like super like cliche or not, but the Duck Hunt Super Mario on Nintendo.
I don't think I even knew the answer to that. So Duck Hunt. So go ahead.
Yeah, so like you got like the little like ray gun with Duck Hunt, and like that was just unbelievable to me. And I do not understand how they haven't like recreated anything like that other than like VR at this point, because Duck Hunt on Nintendo worked good.
Yeah.
And Super Mario, obviously, just from there forward, it was just like a non-stop train of just like console stuff until WoW came out.
So a lot of early Nintendo gaming, WoW came out, and then that was just when you went full on like neckbeard PC.
Yeah, so that's like.
Would you say that it's a fair assumption that before WoW you were like
later?
So before WoW it was just kind of like this is cool, but like you weren't necessarily like gaming. You were more like oh it's cool, but like.
So I guess I started getting like hyper competitive once I played my first online game, which was Rainbow Six 2. Like literally Rambo 6 and the second iteration of Rainbow Six. And that was on PlayStation. And like bro, like we're talking like I got trolled by like what's the shape of Italy? Oh, it's a boot. and I'd get kicked.
Oh my god.
Or like if you press start up AA, it makes your game faster. Like I got trolled by all of it, dude. I was such a kid.
I think everyone had to face those trials for sure.
Yeah, it definitely and I remember it specifically happening in those games. And then I think I really started taking games seriously with Ratchet and Clank, the first online version of that for PlayStation 2, where I got like a headset and like set up a keyboard for people that didn't have a headset on my PlayStation.
Oh, that's fire, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
and then as time went on, eventually, yeah, it got to PC, but it started on PlayStation 2, I want to say.
I like all of those trolling options. I can't remember how many times a WoW expansion would release, and we would hit them with the to refresh the lag, just Alt F4, and then the server queue would drop by 4,000.
Yep.
That stuff was the best, man.
Yeah.
Side note that shouldn't be distracting me, but this is ADHD at its finest. The lo-fi that's playing right now is the Attack on Titan theme, but it's like skewed. It's so good. It's really good. It's just been like pleasant to hear. I'm gonna enjoy rewatching this. Okay, so question one. So you said that's what got you into gaming in the first place. So I'll say like right now, what do you think draws you directly towards a game? Like if you were best case scenario, Ty the game developer. If you could make a game right now that would be like the game that you would play for years and years to come, what would be like your game? Like what would be the game that makes you just feel like this is it?
The vision that Tarkov has, but with magic.
Ooh. Spellbreak?
So do you know are you familiar with where Tarkov wants to go?
No. Please enlighten me.
Okay. So A, it's ambitious. And 2, there's no game like Tarkov right now, right?
I went from A to 2, but continue.
Right. So there's no game like Tarkov, and it is Tarkov for a reason in my mind, especially after playing it so intensively as I did. But right now you have all the traders that you can go to and just like sell stuff, but it's not going to be just like this like HUD like it is now. They want to expand it to like when you look at the map and you go on a raid, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be more like an MMO where there's going to be like vehicles and you have to travel to a trader. You have to travel to your hideout. And in the meanwhile, as a PMC, if you're trying to like travel out, you got to like bunker up, set up your vehicle, and there's gonna be like a whole vehicle thing.
Oh.
And like if your vehicle explodes, like your vehicle's gone.
Oh my gosh.
So like full fucking like large scale of just an actual open world real time like
war. Or like survival more like.
Yeah. And but like with magic. With an element of magic and not so much guns. More like I don't want to say medieval, but like
kind of like BDO a little bit, but
if gunpowder didn't exist.
Okay, yeah. So like that reminds me of Black Desert Online a lot, which you loved, because Black Desert Online was mostly PvP. It was barely PvE, mostly PvP, and it was also very far and few, like gigantic map, lots of travel.
More or less, yeah. Except, you have like a whole like first person kind of deal.
I was saying that myself, how I felt like there should be like a developer, and now there kind of is with Riot Games, but there should be a developer working on a updated class MMO that has that still cartoonish feel, but also has that like almost realism or survival effort that draws people to games. Because this is the most popular gaming category right now. It's BR. People want to play BRs, but they also want to play MMOs. So if you can find a way to make an MMO that has that BR feeling of survival, like holding on to your own, yes, that would be like, I feel like the best way to like mix in, conjure up something that's phenomenal. I think that, and we'll see what Riot's doing, because I know Riot's devs have been tweeting out that they want to talk about a lot of things, but they haven't yet, and they're holding on because they're making that gigantic Riot MMO. A lot of the World of Warcraft developers left to that project, so that's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see where that goes, but fingers crossed. Riot hasn't missed yet. Riot hasn't missed a single thing yet. Every single thing they've made, their MOBA, their auto battler, their FPS, everything's just been great so far. So they have pretty high standards, obviously, on the development end. So that would be your game of choice. Gotcha. Any noteworthy?
So something like that, yeah.
Any noteworthy other games besides Tarkov's that really stand out to you? I mean, Valorant we're gonna talk about. That's obvious, but
so when I think of games that stand out, right? You gotta kind of like give a comparison on like what is this game like, and is there another game like it? So like you can say like campaign, like unique campaign games, like regardless of Cyberpunk's fault of it being the release that it was, like the story and the missions that I've done in Cyberpunk are some of the most unique missions I've ever done.
Of course, yeah.
Like, can I give spoilers or?
Absolutely, yeah. Cyberpunk's been out for a while. I mean, even I, hating the game, have played more than half of it.
Okay, so did you do any of the romance missions?
I have not. No, I don't know which branch did you choose because I re-rolled.
So, I
originally started off as the desert guy, and then whatever the desert one is. I don't
only your sexual orientation and your genitalia determined which romance roles you could take. So
really?
Yeah. So it didn't matter if you were.
I did not know that fact. That's funny.
Yeah. So the romance line with Jody, bro, that's my favorite fucking quest of all time.
Yeah?
She takes you on like this scuba diving trip to where her hometown was. And it is the fucking cutest thing in the world, dude. You're just like, she's like, this is where I grew up, blah, blah, blah. And then like kind of like memories start like running around and like you hear shit of just like, you know, kids playing. Bro, it was such a good fucking mission. And just so many other, like the other one that you do with the guy. Oh, dude. The missions that came out of that game were unlike any missions I've done in most games. So I'd probably put Cyberpunk as like a campaigner.
Yeah.
And BioShock, obviously, because I'm a huge fucking fan of BioShock.
They've done phenomenal work, yeah.
But the creativity that those two games put behind their story and their story development, I think are unparalleled to most games. And obviously Tarkov, with just the sheer way that it's built, is why I have to put it there.
So you think if they mix that, the story element and quest chaining of a game like, you know, Cyberpunk, and then the play style and vision of a game like Tarkov, that's the breadwinner.
That'd be a game.
Gotcha.
That'd be unbelievable.
I get a lot of different answers to that question, so it's cool to hear yours, because like each one seems like a game that I would really like to play. That one seems like a game that I would really like to play a lot, and that's why one of my mods has been I shouldn't say one of my mods, literally my largest supporter of all time, Ahoge Warrior. He's fucking phenomenal. He is he keeps telling me about old school RuneScape and like the newer RuneScape and to play it and everything, and I keep telling him like, listen, if I do it, like that's all I'm gonna do. Like I can't even start it because I know once I find out like the paths forward and stuff, I'm gonna be hooked, and like that's it. So, but I feel like we can transition smoothly into question number 2 from there, and I'm actually excited to, because this one I know a bit about myself, but I feel like it's gonna be fun to hear it again, put it into a separate perspective here. So, what brought you into streaming in the first place? You know, and this is what I like to call honesty hour. I actually have that written down in my script because it's important. Because I feel like a lot of people have different things. You know, was it money, fame, gaming, and you know, what made you want to do this most?
I don't really think you'll like my answer because of whom it entails. Mr. Beast is a very big inspiration to what I want to do. I've always, you know me, I'm just a generous person in general, but like I want to be able to give back the way that he does.
Side note, Ty helped buy my first ever PC as a birthday gift to me. So very, very generous person. I promise you. This is fact checked, proven. Like, so continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But, no problem. Watching his videos and just like, how can I incorporate that into video games? And like, I've been toying with a lot of ideas, and now that like I have more time and I'm not like doing school anymore, like it was always the goal to kind of give back like 100% of my donations. But like at one point you asked me like, what is the how did you phrase that? What would make someone want to sub from that? And like I gave you like a pretty shitty answer. Looking back on it, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines.
I remember the conversation.
And I've kind of like stepped not away from that, because I still do like random giveaways, but now that I have more time to think about how I want to kind of move forward with that idea. Versus before, I was very much just like gearing my content around just like, teaching Valorant, playing Valorant, and doing shit like that. And although that is part of the content that I want to make, I don't think I'm working towards the main goal that I want, for my stream, and that is just to give back. Especially being able to work now, I'm gonna actually be able to do like decent giveaways at least once a month.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You sent me your salary. I'll be there. Oh man. No, that's funny. So I get what you're saying, because like, okay, so I have a rule in my stream, right? The rule is consistent, never fails. First person in my stream gets a gifted sub no matter what. Because a lot of people fight for that first spot. They always want to say first, exclamation point, first, whatever. Gifted sub immediately if you don't have one. And then if you do have one, you get to pick who gets it of all the other people who come in. So that's always been a rule. And I love that give back, because that's, $5 from me. What is that, right? Compared to if I get 5 subs that stream. So it's almost nothing. It's buried in that. But I love the fact that it comes from a very warm place. You said I'd hate your answer, but I love your answer. It comes from a very warm place of wanting to reciprocate that love to the people who maybe don't have it. I mean, you know me. I come from nothing. So I'm grateful for everything I get.
It was mostly because I related it to Mr. Beast, and I kind of know your feelings about him, if they're still the same.
I like Mr. Beast. I have a difficult part with watching his content. I can't watch Mr. Beast content myself as easily, just because I feel like Mr. Beast often, it's like great in everything that he does, but I feel like he prioritizes and sections his content in a different way, and sometimes it's hard to watch him spend $100,000 on a steak, and you're just like, okay, but like, imagine,
I got it.
Imagine what you could do with that. Like,
yeah.
But then again, who am I, right? Maybe he does that to boost ad revenue for his philanthropy channel, right? I can't judge, but from an underling perspective, sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah.
So, question 2A, same thing on question number 2, because we're talking about what got you into streaming. What did the first couple streams look like? And what do you want the first couple
like?
Yeah, and what would a good stream look like to you? Like, what would like when you're fully set up, like what would you like that to look like? So first stream, fully set up, go for it. Because I know my first stream.
Wait, so are you talking about my literal first stream, or once I have everything that I want?
Both. So on one end, what did your first stream look like? Let's start with that.
So we're talking okay, so we're talking about the beginning. What did my first stream look like? It was just a webcam, no borders, Overwatch, and like just like me, just like itty bitty in like the bottom right hand corner. It was like the size of like a fucking thumbnail.
I remember that time. I think I have videos of it. I don't have clips,
Um,
unfortunately. I lost every single clip in an issue.
I think I probably lost mine too, to be honest. Yeah, it went there.
I had a
Yeah.
Twitch issue. So, given that, if you had, let's just say, unlimited resources, what do you think your perfect branding would look like for your stream?
So the other side of the coin is like our favorite Dr. Disrespect himself.
Of course, love him. Shout out, Doc.
So like the level of production quality that he brings to the table is ultimately where I see my stream going. And now that I have a job and can actually like start getting scenes that could be like not necessarily his Lamborghini scene, but my spaceship scene.
True.
And shit like that. Like
Yeah.
put myself in a fucking spaceship and like, you know, blast off into the fucking whatever game I'm going to. Stuff like that. You know, not necessarily have an arena, but like have like a planet that I land on, you know, shit like that. That's like the direction that I want to go in terms of you know, 9 lives.
Like the best stream.
And having that, yeah.
Absolutely. No, and I think it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think that it's also worth mentioning to anyone listening who is an up and starting content creator. There's somebody who we visited recently. They go by the name of Hey You Video Games. And they were top notch. And mind you, their scenes were dirt cheap. You could tell they made it in like MS Paint.
Yeah.
But it was
they deliver.
It is what you did with the scene. And I think that was a perfect example. That you don't need Doc money to have Doc quality. Because they were minimalist, but very much there. And you were sold. Yeah. You wanted to be a part of what they had going on. I try to emulate that same thing, but I do need to step out of my shell a bit more. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I have a very big fear of recording, so when I have to get up and enact a skit or something, I get frightened to the core, and I lose all confidence. So it's hard for me to continue to emulate that in that same fashion. But kudos to the people who can, because it shows. It shows from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're very comfortable in their scenes for sure.
They are. Well, I feel like that's how you are too, though. I feel like you don't have an embarrass button. Like some people have that. Some people have that embarrass button, and you have abandoned that ages ago. Like I've never seen you red faced ever.
Comes with age.
Well, I don't know. I gotta age some more then. I gotta get some more age.
You'll be there in like 3 years. Don't worry.
Transitioning into question 3, I think this one's a good one because I think everyone has a different answer. I say this all the time based on my past guests. Oversoul obviously has his wife. He previously had military duties. He may still. Some people were a bit younger, or some people were entrepreneurial. So, how does streaming and relationships work for you? Now, for some people, they have to think about their family, mom, dad, things like that. I know for you, you live kind of on your own, but you have obviously Jackie and all that situation. So is it something that butts its way in? Is it something that maybe isn't a factor at all with communication? Like, how do you think that it fits into your daily life?
It's not really a factor for us. She knows how important video games are to me.
Jackie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so whenever I do game, there are obviously nights that like I want to hang out with her, but there's also like I'll go like 2 weeks in a row of just like playing video games, and I'll be like, I'm gonna hang out with my girlfriend. And it's not like I'm doing this all day either.
Yeah.
So like whether it's like just like having dinner with her or cooking with her, you know, we definitely find some time to hang out. And with the stream schedule that I have, I only stream 3 times a week because that's as much as I want to stream, and I want to put out content
elsewhere
in between those days. And so that makes it really easy, and it still feels good to see growth when I'm not streaming, and I think that's the most important thing that I've realized that has been helping me grow. The past 2 months have been
we're gonna come back to that as well too after, like,
okay,
because
the past 2 months have been a little slow for me just because of school ramping up and me finishing research and everything and like finding jobs. So I've pretty much only been doing Teach Tuesday for the past like 3 or 4 weeks. And so growth has been stunted for now, but overall when I was doing it, every time I like post a TikTok, I'm like getting like 1 follower on TikTok. I get a couple followers on Instagram. And then every now and again, you know, I'll like recognize a name from one of those like on Twitch. So like that's it. But that only has come with the consistency.
Yeah.
And like if the consistency isn't there, I definitely have noticed a drop in just gains in general, which I'm fine with for now because of what life has brought me currently. But yeah,
absolutely. So 3-A, as I would call it. The question that also leads to streaming and relationships is, how do you feel like streaming fits into your personal life, right? Like, is it something that you're comfortable talking about with peers and like other people, or is it something that you feel like is like, hey, I better just keep this to myself? You know, I've had people answer saying that like they don't want to tell anyone. They want to keep it entirely to themselves because they're embarrassed about it. And I've had people who say, fuck it, let everyone know. Where do you stand on that spectrum?
If I tell anybody, I tell them I ask them if they have a Twitch account to follow me. It's like, oh, I'm on it sometimes. Oh, you have one? Just follow me. Like, you're not gonna use it, right? I just follow me. It doesn't matter.
All right. So it's not something that you wear like a badge, but if it comes up, you'll address it.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, do you play video games? And they see my setup and they're like, oh, do you like stream or something? I'm like, yeah, sometimes.
You know, I've practiced entries into like active conversations that plug it. It'll be like, yeah, man, did you hear about that Fall Guys game? Yeah, no, I was streaming that the other day. It was crazy. I was on stream and I like got booted all the way to the exit, and they're like, "Oh, you're streaming?" I'm like, come on, we're doing this. Yeah, Twitch.tv FlexChatman TV.
No, I don't. If it comes up, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to say that I stream or anything. No, I welcome it for sure.
I'm glad you don't feel stigmatized.
Jackie probably plugs it honestly more than I do. I get a ton of people from Jackie's work that come in.
It's kind of weird sometimes when people from IRL come in, which is why I refuse to stream on Facebook Gaming, because I think that it's a total breach of that like anonymity that you kind of want on the internet, right?
So that's two sides of the coin, right? You have your side of the coin where what you're describing. Whereas if I went to Facebook Gaming, I know that there are a lot more people that would support me there because they already have a Facebook.
True.
And like I don't care about the people on my Facebook that see me stream, because everybody that I have, at least on my Facebook, like I you know me, if you don't have any sort of substance to my life, I don't want you in it. So mostly everybody I either think is hot or have some form of like connection with them.
That's funny. No, because my issue with Facebook Gaming, and the reason that I have a concern with it is because I'm afraid that I'm going to get there. Like, let's say I did it, right? Let's say I went to Facebook, because my partnership offer from Mixer still exists. I can go to Facebook Gaming, start as a partner, literally go from like basically partnership, whatever. But I'm worried about like people from my local area kind of being like, hey, remember in high school when you beat that kid? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what I mean.
Like that stuff, like
because of just like your life and how that has happened and that kind of stuff. Like, not going into your background, but
of
you
course.
Know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god, my background.
that is more of what I'm trying to get at.
100%. No, I got you. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. Okay, yeah. So I'm glad you feel about that. How do you feel about the new streaming platforms? Have you heard about that Glamesh thing?
I'm thinking about moving to YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That's spicy. Have you been posting shorts and videos or no? Nothing?
I don't have the thing yet. I don't have the beta. Shorts yet.
It's active for everyone. Live for all creators.
Okay, so there we go. Thank you for letting me know.
That just
because
happened last week.
I was gonna say I checked last week and I didn't have it. So
yeah, last week there was a post about it. Yeah. But I've been updating it myself. Like I said, I have the VODs channel up now, and I have my regular channel now. The regular channel gets all like the edited cut videos in the podcast. The VODs channel gets just like my streams raw, fucking 5-hour videos. Deal with it or not. I don't care. Do what you want, but they're there, right? So I think it's fun to just kind of offload that way. But YouTube is honestly uprising, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of issues that I've been having with Twitch lately that have definitely given me a sour taste in my mouth. They're not pushing my notifications. I go live, people don't get notifications. It's just a big that's a big one. I have 2,860 something followers.
Yeah.
And you're telling me they're not getting a notification when I go live? Really?
Yeah.
They have to do 7 steps to get notifications on my channel. They have to enable notifications, go to my channel, enable notifications, go to their settings and do. No. Second off, it bothers me the fact that I've gotten a copyright claim on doing a you laugh, you lose from YouTube. Just mute the video. Just mute the VOD. Why do you have to copyright me? What is that even about? And then
just all that. And then like people watching hot tub streamers and then getting banned for it.
Oh my God, did you see what happened to Cutie Cinderella?
Yeah.
Cutie Cinderella got
watching Amaranth.
Exactly. Yes. On
2 partnered streamers interacting with each other.
And one gets in trouble. Cool. Love it.
So that and the whole like double standard, everything that's happened with like Alinity and that the fact that she's still a streamer and but the thing that there's 2 things. So Valkyrie and Courage have both talked in depth about the problems with YouTube. There's no gifting subs. There's no rating.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Those are 2 really big issues.
That's why she brought them up.
Oh, those are huge.
And so like that is the big problem that I see, but also at the same time, like she said, so it's coming up on like a year or 2 years or something. And, you know, they had said to her during her contract period that, hey, you know, we're going to be adding these features, you know, it's going to take a little time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it is something that they're thinking about, but just haven't implemented yet. And my issue, there's 2 things. I want to be there before it happens, because when it does happen, there's going to be a lot of movement.
Who floods
before Twitch and YouTube.
Same thing happened on Mixer. I did it. I followed the Mixer train, and it worked for me until it didn't.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking about like, do I want to jump ship now and just kind of like because YouTube's numbers are huge. I actually didn't really realize that until I actually looked into it. But they are very competitive numbers with Twitch.
100%.
And I didn't know. I didn't really know that. And so it makes me want to lean more towards that way now. But like out of the some money I make, now that I have a job, I can kind of sacrifice that some money I make and maybe make that switch. And then that way I could also I know that Twitch has this whole integrated thing now where you can just throw your stuff onto YouTube, but like the simplicity of that just already being on the platform and it ready to go like immediately after, if I do like a Teach Tuesday session, I can just do that.
Well, the content recycling from YouTube is so much easier. You do a video, or you do a stream. The stream turns into a video. The video turns into a YouTube short. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 channels right now. Just hit, boom, boom, boom. Content spread wide across the board. There's almost no reason not to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you're right. I think there's some truth to YouTube. Absolutely. And there's a lot of big names who have made the move. Obviously, Valkyrie, Courage. Obviously, Doc, you know, rest in peace to his Twitch. He definitely deserved Twitch. Twitch didn't deserve him.
Yep.
And even Harris Heller now has fully officially made the switch, which was
not
as big of a one, but big.
He's he's gonna get bigger on YouTube than he would have on Twitch.
He already
Just
was,
because-
though. He already was.
Yeah, but like him averaging like I think he was like averaging like 3 to 500 whenever I'd see him. But like I feel like his numbers on YouTube are gonna be much better.
I agree.
Just because of his sheer volume that he has on his channel already.
I think one of his mistakes was making it separate from his channel. He made that channel.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he made a separate channel than
we'll
Hair
see.
Teller. So.
I don't want to like because
Wish bad omen.
he hasn't been streaming long enough on his new channel for me to really like make an assumption.
Yeah.
Whereas like some people are still like learning that he did that. You know, that's more of what I'm getting at.
I still get flack occasionally here to hear from arguing with him on Twitter. Which is so stupid, but
yeah,
it's just funny.
That was funny though.
Yeah,
I remember. I think you texted us about it in the group chat.
I was freaking out because I was like, "Who is this asshole think he is? This guy's nobody, and he's sitting here talking shit." Turns out he's actually not nobody. He's actually very, very much somebody.
He actually had 500,000 followers on YouTube. 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it's
on
like,
YouTube at the time.
Okay, yeah, we felt that one.
Little bitch.
So let's transition to question 4. I'm liking the pacing of this. Each question's about 10 minutes or so I like that. Or at least we're averaging it out with the other conversation. But number 4 goes to, I think, an unusual one. And it's unusual because we're going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth soon. And I'm even curious about this. So let's say pre your recent developments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So pre your recent developments, what would a perfect day in the life look like for you? As far as,
Well, let me tell you my work schedule, and you tell me how perfect that sounds to you. So I work 4/10s. I work Sunday to Wednesday. I do 10-hour shifts, and so then I have Thursday to Saturday free. So probably looking at like, depending on, I'm gonna do some test streams in the like noon time to like where times start to get ramped for everybody else, so around like 4 or 5. So stream at the less popular hours. So I'm gonna look at those times, and then or just stick to streaming at 8 to like midnight, but I usually do about 4 hours per stream. And I'm gonna toy with those 2 during those 3 days and see how that goes, pretty much. But yeah, so
tinker down. Well, this is why I wanted to talk about like before this big transition, because that's your work schedule moving forward. 4/10s actually is not bad. What are the hours of your 4/10? Is it like 7 to 5 or like?
It's to be discussed. So because right now, like,
Preferably earlier.
My ideal situation is going in an hour earlier than everybody else and leaving an hour later.
Oh, so 12.
Oh, so like a regular shift. Like, let's just say it's like your regular 8-hour 9 to 5 whatever. So I would prefer. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you're trying to still cut down. I mean, I always fought every job I've been at for earlier the better. I love that. I love getting in real early, getting out also early in comparison. But 4/10s isn't bad compared to, I have friends who work in 4/12s, and that's a standard. That's a standard now in a lot of trades, a lot of other things. So 4/10s is not bad, especially at the rate you're getting. And that's salaried, right? Oh man, yeah, that's that's real good.
3 weeks vacation, 10 sick days. And I'm given 3 weeks, but I accrue more.
I was putting this off. Let's just dress the bull right now.
Well, actually, can I go to the bathroom before?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll talk to Chad a bit. No, you're fine. Let's catch up with you guys in chat here while he runs to the bathroom. Good to see you, Jeep. Good to see you, K-Drons. Good to see everyone. I see Jake Break sent a giant message saying, have an MMO that has a contested area that's a BR queuable. Basically FPS with magical abilities, crossbows and shit, best of both worlds. You get to have your cake and watch your cake have sex with another cake. I'm with it. I'm down. That sounds great. That sounds great. K-Drone's DrLogicall, more like Dr. Big Schlongical. Okay, all right. Yeah. Good to see you guys. Liv says the people doing hot tub streams are fine. I know, dude, I know. The people who watch hot tub streams get in trouble. That's the crazy part. Liv said, why did K-Drones like that? I don't know. Why'd you say that? No, I don't know. Why'd I say K-Drones like that? Because that's how K-Drones is said. K-Drones. Doesn't he have a Z? All right, sorry. Kyle Droneziver. Sorry, I'll say his full name. Kevin Dunnigan Rons. Complex hot tub streams. I'm going right now. Ow! Woo! Good to see you, Comp. How are you doing? What's going on? We're doing the podcast, but DrLogicall is currently on a bathroom break waiting for him to get back. So we're vibing. We're vibing right now with chat. I don't talk to chat. You guys know this. I don't talk to chat when I do the podcast, but because he's on a bathroom break, I'm talking to you guys right now. Lulatina, good to see you. Welcome in. Jeep says, Compety Wampety. Yeah, you're right. She does look like that. Oh, we're feeling good today. We're feeling good. How you guys feeling? You guys enjoying the podcast so far? Give me a number 1 in chat if you guys are enjoying this. If it's interesting. Just number 1. Just type 1 enter. Doesn't take much to type that, you know. Honestly. It's a small button. You better talk to me when he comes back, Lulatina. Your time is done, I promise. I don't mean that offensively. I mean that professionally, okay? Liv, this Seattle's Best is not hitting. I'm sorry. This Seattle's Best coffee is just not doing it for me. It's good, though. It's good. I like it. Guys, if you have any questions at all, any questions for the guest, obviously DrLogicall, you guys all know him, or any questions for the podcast, feel free to send those to me on Discord as a direct DM. I'll be checking all of my DMs at the end of the podcast just to check and see if there's any questions whatsoever. Please let me know. I'm happy to get to that. But for everyone I've been responding to, just know that that time is over. You're done. You're done. You're cut. Trash. Not talking to you. I'm kidding. They're great people. They're great people. Every single one of them. They're phenomenal. I love them. But Ty's back, so we got to get right back into this. Ty, let's crack some eggs, baby. We've been talking about this. I've been pushing it off because after the 5 questions, it's basically grab bag and go from there. We talk about whatever we want to. And I was really holding off on talking about this, but you've been kind of touching upon it a few times. So let's just jump right into this, man. This new job you have. Mm-hmm. Just to give everyone who's in chat my perspective as someone who's very uneducated in this field. Ty is a microchip engineer. So when you open up your phone and you see that tiny little green chip that has all those tiny gold wires and little silver dots and all that other stuff all over it, he makes those. He makes those tiny little things. He has a crazy stethoscope glass thing that looks like this. And he just gets right in there and just does it. He just makes them. It's phenomenal. And he's went to school for that and has recently not only graduated, congratulations.
Thank you.
But has gotten a phenomenal job opportunity making them in his town. So he doesn't even have to leave, which is phenomenal even more because that means you guys are going to get duo streams. You can't avoid me. You can't escape me. I'm everywhere. Ty, tell me about this, man. Tell me more about this.
So the position, so I applied for one position. I'll just tell you the whole story because why not? So I applied to be a lithography process engineer, and what that is are you familiar with a dark room for
yes,
photography?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of developing microchips where you kind of need a area like that because you use a liquid that is photosensitive to regular light. so I was going to be working in that area, and what a process engineer is when that liquid needs some sort of specifications, and so those specifications are already in place, and it's a process engineer's job to make sure that those parameters are within control and within specifications.
Okay.
So that was the initial job that I interviewed for, and when they called me for the offer, they said that both areas, I'll get to the other job, they said they loved me, and if I didn't accept one of them, either way, I was going to get an offer for either the job that I took or the lithography process engineer position. So that made me feel pretty good. The other job, which is like much more in my realm of interest, where I've been gearing myself to be a process engineer the past 2 years. I'm doing trim yield engineering, and what that is there's this laser. It's pretty much a laser beam that will picture this as like a microchip.
Yeah.
You see me, right, Flex?
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the chips that we're making are radio frequency chips, so they're all antennas. So Bluetooth, 5G, anything that transmits and
5G.
receives.
Let me get the tinfoil from downstairs. Hold on.
So the new technology coming doesn't have parameters around it yet. So when you need your Bluetooth chip or let's just say 5G because that's easier. You have a number that's 5 gigahertz. So how do you get a chip that has an antenna to be 5 gigahertz? So let's say there's too much here. So you need to trim off some to get it to be 5 gigahertz, because if it's too thick, you're going to have a lower frequency. If it's too thin, you're going to have a higher frequency. So let's just say you have to trim off all of these yellow bits to get to this 5G bit.
Oh my God. And you're talking like microns, right? You're talking like
angstrom.
Tiny.
So it's 10 to the negative 10th.
Oh my God. Just to like give you an example of that, my bicep versus Ty's, like it's like you have to get so small.
If you cut your hair in half, your hair, not mine, because I don't have any, and then cut it in half again, that's probably like 5 angstroms across.
Oh my God. And you have to deal with 1 angstrom?
We're dealing with angstrom differences, yeah.
Holy shit.
Because per angstrom is 1 megahertz.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I can't even picture like dealing with that. I mean, obviously the tools and instruments you're equipped with are like phenomenal to do so, but that's just, I mean, so somebody in the world does these jobs and you don't know they do these jobs, and here's Ty who does these jobs.
Exactly. So my job as a trim yield engineer is that I would be setting the parameters for this new process and saying, like, this is what we should have for this specific chip, and like setting those parameters and then making sure once they go into process, are they within yield? Yeah.
Okay.
So like people, like there are people that will report to me.
That's phenomenal.
Or I'll be like, hey, the fuck? What's going on?
Well,
get your shit straight.
I have to say, man, you've been working very vigorously in school for a very long time to make something like this happen. You've been grinding at it. And the thing is this, a lot of people who have been in my chat and channel have had an incredibly difficult time with school.
Sucks.
And I know
school
it's difficult. But you've also done school and also streamed and also giveaways and also everything else.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that their sacrifice is any less. I'm not saying that yours is any bigger. I'm just saying that it's impressive to see you manage such a large burden at once and make so much happen. It really is. It's great.
It all comes down to like your mindset and your goals. The biggest thing that if anybody does want to stream or does want to either maintain motivation or if you have goals in mind that you want to do, as soon as you achieve a goal in your bucket list, like the first of mine being that when I studied abroad in Italy, and I took out a bunch of fucking credit cards to do it because I was just kind of fuck it. But
True.
after that happened, and I landed in this island that I saw when I was 8 years old and wanted to go there my whole life and was always too poor to even think of that to be an idea. Once I achieved that, I felt like nothing could really stop me. If I can achieve that goal, what else can I achieve? And graduating college and getting the job that I have now, and this being the second time I've ever felt anything like that, is just the motivation that just more so that what else can stop me. So as soon as you can figure out a goal that you feel is unachievable and you achieve it, will change your life forever. I can guarantee you that. And if you don't feel that way, that goal wasn't big enough.
See, it's funny you say that because I am on the opposite side of that spectrum. And of course, I mean, who would have thought me and you butting heads? No, I'm kidding. That's not butting heads. It's not butting heads. No, but it's funny because I honestly feel like whenever I hit a goal, I almost feel like, well, shit, what now? You hit your goal and it's okay, well, cool. We
you
hit
have more.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I never can have enough. Exactly. I feel like that's
good.
I feel like that's the other portion because you said once you hit a goal, it's oh, we hit a goal. Now nothing can stop me.
I'm not talking about my first goal cost me $25,000, and I paid that back. That is a goal that not a lot of people even have. I'll never put myself in that position.
Yeah.
Why not? If that is your fucking dream, and if it is your dream,
do it.
Why not?
Yes.
Make it happen.
100%. Exactly. And that's exactly why I feel, because I feel like it'll never be enough. Because one dream, I'm somebody who's not satisfied with you know what? I make enough to pay my bills. I get off maybe a day or two a week, maybe a day and a half. I have chores. I'm satisfied. I go to bed. I watch a half an hour of TV, and then that's it. It's no. 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 I'm chasing Twitch. I'm chasing YouTube. I'm chasing TikTok, chasing Twitter, chasing Instagram. I'm chasing to be better at certain games. I'm chasing to be better at interactions, chasing sponsorships, chasing everything, chasing higher pay in my daily life. I'm chasing so many different leashes, and it feels like I can never have enough. It feels like I'm always hungry. I'm always eager for the next thing. And so I feel like I agree with you that when you hit that point of hitting a goal, you should not let it stop you. You should feel unstoppable, and then harness that at the next goal and then the next goal. Because if you hit a goal and you stop there, you're just plateauing yourself and capping your potential.
Yeah. No, you're not going anywhere anymore.
Because a lot of people, you see them, they're I got a bachelor's degree, done. I'm going to get this job, work my 9 to 5 and call it a day. I make decent money and that's fine. Yeah. It's what? That's it?
It's now that I've graduated, I can get started on my real goals is how I feel.
Exactly.
My life goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like question number 5 is almost not even worth talking about because I already know.
It's up to you.
Well, I know what number 5, what the first answer is going to be. But
do they know? Does chat know though?
If they know you, then yeah, they know.
Okay.
Who do you draw inspiration from?
Mr. Beast and Dr. Disrespect.
Absolutely.
And Shroud.
That's super obvious. But here's another one that's actually worth mentioning. Question 5's part 2, which is, who do you personally watch for entertainment yourself? Let's say you get a couple moments to yourself to go on your phone.
I don't watch a lot of people, bro.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of streamers.
Me too. People who aren't even streamers, YouTubers, a lot of people don't know. I mentioned one the other day that got a lot of people going. It was who is it? Small Ant on YouTube. Love Small Ants. Small Ant does a lot of speed runs and stuff. He's growing. I watch a lot of obviously Dr. Disrespects YouTube. Cinnamon Toast Ken, interesting. He has some interesting stuff. Obviously, PewDiePie, like obviously a lot of those YouTube creators. And as far as streamers, there's a lot. I stop by mostly smaller streamers because I think that there's a lot of opportunity for them for growth. But I also think there's a lot of ways for them to have creative points in their content that I can learn from, because everyone has an idea that they start off with. So where do you land on that?
So I have my list up. So I'll tell you, Hiko for most Valorant content.
He's great.
It's Timmy. I just started watching for
Apex. He's so good, yeah.
Sweet
Dreams you should watch for Apex too. Sweet Dreams is really good, but he's also very funny. He's just hilarious.
Lulu Lovely for Apex as well.
Just date her. Just date her already. I see you on Twitter.
Sweet Tails is unbelievable. She does. She learns like Godzilla, Rap God, and like does them all on stream, and it is unreal, dude. It is so sick. Shroud, obviously, just for any content. I will just watch Shroud any day of the week. Landmark for Tarkov.
Never heard of him, so that's good.
He is the Tarkov streamer. Like you click Tarkov like in the afternoon, he's gonna have the most viewers.
Okay.
And is there anybody else here that you could think of?
I think it is worth mentioning that a lot of people have, like, no matter what your level of content creation is, you watch someone, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I found a lot of good creators from watching large creators talk about the creators they watch.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually another person who I found through PewDiePie who posted a video about creators he liked called, actually no, it was Mr. Beast who was doing it. And he talked about this person called The Right Opinion. And The Right Opinion, I've watched ever since. He makes these gigantic infographic videos exposing drama on YouTube, and he's amazing. His like level of detail and like how he goes into everything and pieces it together and makes a convincing point is phenomenal. And I've never liked YouTube drama series at all, but he is really good at that kind of stuff. And I think it's good because, you say like all of these people, but to someone, you're that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really thing that a lot of people take for granted. A lot of people take for granted that you are the person who falls on that list for somebody who they watch for content in your own specific lane.
I mean, I think one person we could probably all kind of comment on, especially in the light that we're talking about, is Jeep.
Oh, Jeep, 100%, yeah.
At least when he comes into my stream and just like drops those. I don't care if he drops it to a hundred different people, dude. It still makes my fucking day whenever he says those nice things about streamers.
Yes, he does, man.
Jeep, the streamers he watches.
Jeep's awesome, and it's crazy to see how that kind of stuff transitions. Because I met Jeep on Mixer early on, before Dre had switched.
I remember.
It was Jeep and Wolf Tamer, who were brand new to my stream through Mixer, and I sent them literally to Drake. So I was like, "Yeah, you guys are Dre's kind of people." I was like, "I like Evie in here, but you're definitely more Dre." So I sent them that way, and they loved them, and they love you as well that same exact way. What do you feel? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say because I wanted to touch back on something that you mentioned. You mentioned that guy Landmark with Tarkov. What do you feel about streamers being handcuffed to a game? Do you feel like it's something that do you think it's something you're worried about, or do you think it's something that, because you say you love it, but some people don't love it. Some people just do it because they couldn't do anything else.
So I would rather take a pay cut and do what I enjoy, whereas most people aren't willing to sacrifice that, right? Because they already have their money tied up.
Yeah.
I
think that's a scary choice, though.
I mean, it's a scary choice to take out $25,000 and go to Italy too.
Yeah, so, I guess I just think about it from the perspective of like growing streamers.
It's risk for reward, Like obviously, like you don't want to pigeonhole yourself, but if like you're a new streamer, like you shouldn't be playing one game, in my opinion. Like, you almost need to diversify, at least like from what I've seen, and that's just like what I struggle with because I only enjoy really playing Valorant. Like, because that is just the game that I feel the most comfort in and where I can provide the most knowledge to my viewers.
True.
But like, obviously, like, I played Apex competitively, but it's just I'm not in like the BR mood anymore.
You're not in love
But
with Apex.
and same with WoW, you know. But yeah, I don't think any should pigeonhole themselves, especially in the beginning. I definitely think that if like you were to stick to Apex for like as many years as you did Fortnite, and you switch from Fortnite to Apex, you're gonna have this very fucking wide range of people that you'll have for both.
Analytically, I've seen a decrease in 67% of viewer count, but that I don't care. I don't give.
That's what I mean. Like, do what you enjoy, because like that.
Absolutely.
If you want this to be, if you want this to be your life, and you aren't happy playing the one game that you've been playing this whole time, like, what kind of goal is that now? Like, you started playing video games to stream because it's fun, and it's like, who doesn't want this job? So like, if it becomes a chore at that point to play this one game that you've pigeonholed yourself into, like, you're almost like counteracting your dream.
And people can see that. You wear that on your face. When you're not satisfied with the game anymore, you wear that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I've seen it.
Just like, yeah. I mean, that's on anybody, too.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, watching Doc, you can see it on his face, too, but he just fucking powers through it.
Exactly. Oh, my God. There's times he plays Warzone where it's just like he's miserable.
He is done. He is over it.
Cooked.
But he knows that, like, he has to stream it for now because he doesn't really want to play anything else. Like, you see him try when he wants to learn Valorant, that man is unbelievably focused. But that's just side talk anyway. But yeah,
he's very much like me with Valorant, though. He doesn't want to learn it. I don't think he wants to learn it at all. I think he just wants to be good.
There are times where you could definitely see
the gears turning,
and like, obviously, like, his frustration, but I just don't think it's a there's not enough speed, violence, and momentum for him. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I think it's important. I bring up provocative topics like this because I think a lot of people need to hear it to kind of almost reaffirm their same position. And even me in that same position too. Moving to playing Apex is kind of my main game. I still do my variety in the morning streams. Obviously, right now I'm not playing Apex, but I'm streaming, right? But seeing some variety is very, very important. But my thing is, like, there's a lot of topic of debate as far as how you should stream, what you should stream, and everyone's gonna have their own thing. But people like you and I who have watched the industry for a long time do kind of have like a nose to thing, maybe a little of a Tanjiro smell, maybe a Gon with his nose. We can smell out some of the nonsense. And I think that you're absolutely right in saying that gaming what you want to game despite the loss is going to make the difference in the long run, as opposed to just gaming to game and regretting it later on.
Yeah.
Speaking of Demon Slayer, did you see the movie?
Yeah.
I think I asked you already. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I saw it in fucking IMAX, bro.
Ooh, good for you. I made a fatal mistake and I regret it.
You saw it in dubbed?
No, I read the entire manga.
Oh no, I heard you talk about that on stream. Yeah. And I muted your stream as soon as you started talking about it until you got into a fight and forgot about it.
I didn't talk about it much, but I'm disappointed in myself for doing it because there is a lot. Like, it was, I don't want to hear it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it. It's just like, it's like a snowball that turns into an avalanche. And it's like, as soon as I was like one chapter in, I was 50 and then done. Like, it wasn't even long. It was like a 3-day Like, Liv couldn't bother me for a chore. Like, I was in it. Like, that's it. That's all I'm doing right now is this. And, you know, I regret it, but I also love it because it is some of the best storytelling that I could talk about. If they could somehow adapt anime into, like, a game or something, or, like, some way to, like, enjoy it in a different medium than just anime, I think that might be a way to definitely grab some people into.
You should probably try JRPGs, because stuff like that does exist. I just think you've never stepped your foot into those. I'm not talking like Genshin Impact. I'm talking about like the real JRPGs that have like a campaign and story and stuff.
My wallet can't handle Genshin right now.
But I guess with where's my train of thought going? So how, out of a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate the movie?
Demon Slayer? I'd like to give it an 8.
Okay.
I felt like it was very fast. I felt like the pacing was unusual. Like it felt you could almost see the lines, right?
Yeah.
Like there was the lines before sleep, after sleep, last fight, and then the last fight. Like it was like there was like lines drawn that were almost very clear, and I felt like they wasted a lot of time.
So let me tell you my take, because I agree. I think it's an 8 as well.
It could have been an episode.
So I think it's 4 episodes put together.
Yes, it could have been an episode. Exactly.
I think it's 4 episodes put together. However, what I wanted to see out of this movie was the upper ranks on both sides, and they delivered.
Yes. But they did not, because I can tell you from reading the manga, Rengoku is definitely, if you had to rate him to the upper 6 for
that's not like what I wanted to see some like where the power lies.
Yes.
Because all we have seen really is Tanjiro and the other guy that does the water style as well.
Giyu, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that was the only glimpse that we've seen
of like strong power for.
Yes. So after the movie dropped and we got to see both sides, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to see. I was like, where is the new ceiling? Because like I know that Tanjiro is learning, and like the whole like fucking blood art thing that Nezuko learned, like obviously like that like really pushed me forward. I wish that Zetsu got a little more showtime. Nezuko for the movie. I was disappointed there.
Bunny Nezuko is gonna burn a hole in all minds for a long time.
Seriously. But they delivered everything I wanted them to deliver. I thought the pacing of the movie could have been done a little better, but the animation, just like when they get into like each other's like souls.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of how
Rengoku
was apparently doing all these amazing things, but he didn't see any of it. He apparently saved the train, saved all the passengers, did all this stuff, but it was just kind of like, oh, Rengoku's doing all this stuff, and we're not seeing any of it. And then, he came back, and all the passengers are alive, and everything's safe. But like,
oh, you mean like while the fight was happening?
Yeah, like it's like apparently he did all these things, and they were just like, oh yeah, like you're just expected to understand that he did them and not see like kind of the process behind it. You know, one thing in the manga that I will say is like they do segment things in the manga the exact same way, but I will say they do a great job of showing the decisiveness of those, like, you know how when they were fighting, it was like, it's too fast to think about, right? It's like, it's too fast to see. You can't even see them, like, whatever. Like how they were all sitting on the sidelines watching Rengoku fight the guy.
Yeah, for certain aspects of it, yeah. But at the same time,
in the manga, they show, like,
them fighting.
Yes, like, they show, like, the split, like the small sword clashes and why they did that. Like, why they kind of go more into the fight. And I understand animating it is harder, but I wish they would show more of like, okay, I did this because this. I did this because
dude,
this.
He went from 1 to 6. What more can you ask? He went fire style 1 to 6, just back to back to back, and I was like, that blew my mind.
Yes, I 100% agree. There's some stuff. I guess reading the manga, I guess I'm spoiled. I'm never one of those people who's like, oh, I read the manga, so I'm somebody who's like, ugh. Like I never like to be that person. But I will say that in this instance, the Demon Slayer manga definitely does a better job of showcasing why, right? Not just that it's happening, but why it's happening, and explaining it. You know, and I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think so as well. But yeah, I definitely think that like overall, an 8. I think the animation alone, is a reason to see it, because there's nothing out there like it.
Of course.
In terms of just what they've done for themselves. And I hope they don't dilute the animation. But if they dilute the animation in any way, the show will die.
The show will die, 100%.
Yeah.
And they need to keep that same level of quality. The next arc is kind of okay. It's like an okay arc. But the arc after that is the one that like sets the avalanche. That like it never stops from there. The next arc we get to see another Hashira in play, but not as like, you know.
Yeah.
Not as whatever. So I won't spoil anything, but you get to see another Hashira at play, and the boys doing their thing too.
Yeah, training, getting better.
Of course, yeah. Let's I guess take the focus back to streaming, because I could talk about Demon Slayer and anime literally forever, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who will enjoy that segment a lot more than the average person, especially because we have the anime going on in the background, the music. Still, it's really good to listen to. I wish I knew about this playlist before.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Love you. Sorry, Liv just stopped by to say she was leaving as well too. So talking about getting back to streaming here, I'm gonna ask you from two perspectives. One's gonna be from a hardware perspective, and one's gonna be from a software perspective. On the hardware side of things, what do you think is a necessary thing for people to adjust to really improve their streaming? And on a software side, what do you think something is necessary? Maybe it's something people don't know about or something people do know about to really improve their perspective. Like improve their chances of noticeability or maybe quality in general.
Okay, so if you have a bad computer, right? And you really can't stream much besides like what's on your webcam, because realistically that's not very like graphic intensive.
Yeah.
So you could do just chatting with a pretty decent webcam. If you get a C950, like that's a pretty decent camera. Like at least like that's I'm pretty
C930.
Sure what we used for a while. Pretty much our entire streaming until this year. I still use
it for my push-up camera, yeah.
I use it for my fucking hand cam.
Exactly.
This is the guy. And if you're hindered by money, you could. This is definitely within the realm of reason.
100%.
You can stream just chatting and like make something creative out of that. Obviously, like maybe you don't want to do just chatting, but like if you're looking to get into streaming now with the way that the prices are for just every piece of machinery for PCs right now, I'd say just wait. There's no reason for anyone to be paying. I think my graphics card, my 2080 Ti right now that I got for $1,300 is going for $3,000.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, it's all that Bitcoin popping up the graphics cards.
It's that, and part of it is there's a semiconductor shortage right now.
Oh, and you got the industry in.
Severely hindering the making of most devices right now. They're having trouble. The reason why you can't really find any PS5s right now isn't because everybody's buying them up. It's because they're having a hard time making them because they don't have the components to fucking make them.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy because, like I said, you're in the industry, so you have an ear to the ground.
It's public knowledge too. You can there are articles about it if you want to read about it.
True.
The New York Times, I think, posted one about it.
I think my perspective on the hardware end for a gigantic improvement I mean, obviously, camera is huge, and you can do a lot with a cheap webcam. OBS filters and things like that.
Camera, I feel like, is almost the most important, dude.
Yeah.
Just with the because personability, number one. Like, I will not raid somebody or host somebody that usually doesn't have a webcam unless I know them.
True. It is a big factor. It's hard to gauge a full personality. There's people who have done it.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's undoable.
It is
for me,
very difficult.
Yeah.
Like you want to know a personality, and part of that is somebody's face. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but you're on Twitch where it's a competitive market. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to take a job interview and not show them who you are until you show up. You know, it's part of a person's rapport, and I feel like it's definitely necessary. Yeah. In that breath, though, I would also say the audio. I feel like the audio is very
audio is pretty big, even if you get a basic Snowball Yeti microphone.
Regular Blue Yeti, $99 might be the best $99 you could spend on your stream setup.
You definitely. And then eventually, like, I think one of my graduation gifts is gonna be a fucking Go XLR, so I'm pretty hyped about that.
That is huge. A lot of settings, a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, this bad boy is pretty good for your bang for your buck.
Yeah, noise cancellation. I mean, it doesn't pick up if you're not talking. It does a really phenomenal job. And if you put some settings on it as well, like
people don't hear me typing.
Exactly. If you put some settings on it on the back end too, it is really good.
Yeah,
I bought this Yeti pop filter as well too. Yeah. There's like a pop filter that they send. Oh, it's huge. It's made a noticeable difference. And as somebody who streams for a while, because you don't realize your audio until you're at that point where like.
That's one thing I definitely like. I'll get a good microphone. It's not like I thought about anything like behind it, like, or how important it is not to hear a fan in the background.
Yes, exactly. I have an air conditioner.
You know, just like the little things like that are things that really end up making the difference for when you are like just starting to be more serious with your stream.
100%, yeah. Software side, I have two. So one, for a fact, OBS Studio over OBS Streamlabs OBS. It's never do Streamlabs OBS. It's called Slobs for a reason.
I use OBS Studio, yeah.
If you Streamlabs OBS, you're hindering yourself. You're gonna give yourself so much lag, so many issues, so many hiccups on your stream, your frame rate, your everything. It's just going to be awful. And the locking, the capping, the snapping, the everything that it gives you, it's so less free than kind of what you want in a streaming setup. I think that's very, very important. And then if I had to pick a second thing, honestly, this one's going to sound really weird, so definitely bear with me, but Mozilla Firefox. Chrome eats a lot of RAM, and if your PC is not prepared to handle that,
I use Opera, so yeah, I don't use Chrome either.
A separate browser, because Chrome is so RAM intensive, it eats up so much RAM, and it will hinder you, and you won't even realize it. Because when I stream, I keep my Twitch open. I keep it so I can see the chat active. I keep it so that I can do stream markers on my stream dashboard. I do it so I can change the YouTube song. And a lot of people tend to just use Google Chrome and then have really laggy streams and not realize the weight that it's putting on you. A different browser operator is just, it's such a massive difference. It really is such a big call to fix for a lot of people. I don't know if you... Go ahead.
If you don't have... Right now, I'm using something called Voice Meter. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of it. I don't use it, but I've heard of it.
So it separates each of my soundtracks. So you hear my Discord, you hear so you hear my Discord, you hear my voice, and you hear desktop.
Okay.
And so for my editor, sometimes the Discord people are just like too loud for the clip, and so he can like isolate those sounds now and either get rid of them entirely if that makes the clip better, or emphasize them if need be, and same thing for the rest of it. My voice,
You hit the ace
game
and they
volume
go,
or
oh!
yeah, and just like, pop up the
Yeah,
gif
no, I
of
hear you.
all the guys, stuff like that. So that's been a small but bigger feature than I initially thought it to be until he was using it the way that it should be, if that makes sense.
Well, content recycling is very important in that it sounds like a tool that directly affects content recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people do not content recycle. And I feel like it's a super, super, super underutilized angle of how you should be approaching everything. And we talked about this earlier because you mentioned I don't stream and I still get followers and growth. I have that conversation with people all the time. They can't fathom how that functions. They're like, oh, I stream. What else?
Live all the time. You can't be live all the time.
Exactly. So if people are growing and they're not live, this is actually a first of the podcast, Ty. I apologize for my unprofessionalism. I have to use the bathroom. I have to take a pee myself. I have had a bit too much water. Explain content recycling for me while I'm taking this brief intermission.
Okay. So at least my take on it is, you can't be live 24/7. Like your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, you post anything on those are set in stone. How many times do you find yourself clicking on a fucking VOD? Like, if someone asks you to go check out, like, a friend, like, oh, check this person out, you're more likely to say that, like, okay, I'll follow them and I'll catch them while they're live. And, like, you're not gonna go, like, look at their VOD. I mean, you might, like I do, but I don't think most people really do that. So once something's written in ink on the internet, you're gonna like go check them out. Like, at least when I look at a streamer or like they're not live, I'm gonna like try and like look at their other content to see like what they're about, what they do. Mostly it's a lot of Valorant streamers recommended to me, but it's written in ink and you're not live all the time. That's the big difference. And like a YouTube video that you post could pop off 6 months from now. Like, what you're doing might not be important right now, but like, let's say that you're streaming Among Us proximity chat and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, Among Us drops a new mod and then it just like fucking blows out of the water and everyone's playing Among Us again. All of a sudden your proximity chat Among Us video blows the fuck up because Among Us is blowing up again.
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen on Twitch. Yeah. You're not gonna blow up on Twitch. You're gonna blow up on some other, unless like Mr. Beast, you get rated. Some of these things happen, and some people are obviously able to like capture that audience and have a lot of people stay. A lot of times, bigger streamers talk about how smaller content creators' content, they're not ready for that big step. So a lot of people, like, yeah, it's a lot of momentary gain, but at the same time, like, if you get rated by a big streamer, you have to be ready to then produce the amount of content that a big streamer produces,
which is,
or you're gonna lose
insurmountable.
A lot of that following.
It is insurmountable.
How do you go from someone like myself that has 420 followers, as Ian pointed out, to if you get 600 from like a 10,000 person raid or something, like, how do you compensate for that afterwards is something that you'd have to think about. Like, just because you get rated by a big streamer that gives you an opportunity to be that person that I'm talking about, but it's very easy for you or anyone to let that slide away.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I think a perfect example of this right now is Ludwig. Right?
Yeah.
Ludwig, he streams.
Plenty of people.
Ludwig streams, then takes his stream, turns it. Oh, actually, even better than Ludwig, Small Ant. Let me use Small Ant. Small Ant will stream 4 hours. Take that 4 hours, turn it into a 20-minute YouTube video. He'll take that 4-hour VOD, throw it right onto a VOD's channel. Take that 20-minute YouTube video, make 4 TikToks and YouTube Shorts, post that to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and then post tweets linking to all of that.
Yep.
a lot of work. Yeah, you're right. It's a so much work. But that is the level that you have to be at if you want to maintain that momentum. Oversoul got hosted by Hiko.
That's pretty sick.
It was a gigantic thing. He had a title that was like best hand cam on Twitch, and Hiko rated him. And Oversoul's like, it was fun for a while. The retention was cool, but then it slowly dwindled. And it's like, that's great and all, but when it dwindles, like, that's something that you kind of just gotta, like, you have to think about, like, did I do everything I could?
Yeah, you also have to, at least because I'm in his chat so much, like, you have to kind of facilitate the needs of whoever hosted you, right? Because, like, you might not know who the person is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people in chat actually know who Hiko is. But he's the IGL for 100 Thieves for Valorant. And, like,
in-game lead.
Whenever
a lot of people don't know IGL. It's the in-game leader for their squad. Person who makes the calls. So
when I play Valorant, that is the role that I take in any ranked game. And I usually do randoms, or I usually at most like trio queue at this point for diamond lobbies.
Yeah.
But I take the initiative to IGL because that is where my comfort zone is, because I'm not by any means an entry fragger or anything like that. Like, I could play the role, but I'm not going to do it. Someone that has 600 hours of Jet, I play support roles. So when it comes to making a plan and devising like team synergy, that is where I thrive. So that is kind of the Hiko initiative. Well, obviously he is the fucking clutch master. Those types of things are what his chat is going to be looking for when a raid happens. So if, like, you could provide that, you're gonna get a lot more retention, and obviously, like, put out the kind of YouTube and personality that Hiko brings to his chat. So you almost have to like emulate whoever rated you like that for a time being, so that you can kind of capture that audience.
Yes.
The same way that he does.
Now, this is in no way disrespect to Oversoul as well, too, because Oversoul's a phenomenal Valorant streamer, but slightly different brand of content.
That's what I mean.
A slightly different brand.
I definitely think there's a lot of people that could have, taken a liking to him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you're saying, Oversoul's content is very different than Hiko's.
Yes. And that's why you're going to get some people who are like, oh, I'm still here from the Hiko raid. Like, I love your content. But you're not going to get everybody. It's because everyone's not going to watch everyone. Just because you like someone doesn't mean I like them. And that's non-versatile. Exactly. And I think that has to be mentioned as well, too. I mean, I always say, though, when you do get raided or you do get hosted, you do have to turn it up to 110%. I don't care if it's one person or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000. Turn it up a little bit more than you normally would, right? Focus.
And say what you do.
Yes, exactly.
That's a fucking, hey, I'm a Valorant streamer. I do Teach Tuesdays, blah blah blah, and just like, just explain who you are to those people.
Yeah.
That I think that definitely gives me the most retention whenever I get a raid.
Yeah, you have to explain it. And
like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'll sit here and listen to that. Like,
and capture them in that moment too. Capture them immediately as soon as that raid happens. Whatever you're doing, make it seem like it's the best thing you've ever done.
Yeah,
immediately. Sure. It doesn't even matter if you're playing Minecraft. Dig right down, find diamonds. Do what you can to make that moment seem so impactful. Now, normally I don't break off here. I apologize. This is a unique situation in which somebody just followed and actually asked a question. I never look at chat, but Rax did ask if I'm trying to grow, should I create a Discord ASAP? I just wanted to touch this because it's not a gigantic answer. But the thing is this, you should have a community for a Discord, right? If you have a Discord and no community, when people join, they're going to be joining a vacuum, right? And a lot of people don't want to do the burden of creating the Discord from the ground up. A lot of people want to join a Discord or join a community that's already kind of moving or already kind of has its legs going. It's not a bad idea to have one for your friends. You invite your friends that you meet. They all play in the Discord, and eventually they're hanging around enough that the community starts being built. But I wouldn't build it just for the stream. I would build the stream and then build the Discord to kind of be a support factor. Because it really is a retention thing. It's for people who are in your community to let them know more about what's going on and give them an opportunity to have a place. but I don't know if it's necessarily like the gamest changer, in my opinion.
So my take on it is that you should, because that's where your community can converse with each other when you're not live. So like the way that I feel like you're putting it, Flex, is like, okay, so when I'm live or like letting people I'm going live, like I'll put it in my Discord, whatever. And as you touched on, like, you know, when you're playing with friends, then your friend, like you see like the activity between like your friends and stuff. That is one thing, but I also feel like those are the moments where you can kind of see your community like connect with other people when you're not online.
I'm glad you spoke, because that's not how I meant it. So I'm glad that you kind of rebuked that. No, I guess what I meant to say was more along the lines of build the community before the Discord, not the Discord before the community. In my opinion, because you want people. Because
I do think the Discord helps do that. I'm not saying like ASAP, maybe not so much, but like it's definitely something that you should think about to be able to connect with your community,
of course,
when you're not live yourself too.
Absolutely. I think of it like, would you want to walk into a bar that's empty and dark, or a bar that has a fireplace lit and a lot of people sitting around it chatting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of want to be in a warm environment, and if people join in, what's going to happen if they join in before a Discord set up and all there is add everybody's and everything else? They're just going to mute notifications and never check the server again. You want enough conversation going that when people join, they're jumping into something as opposed to just jumping in and getting spam with everyone's going live notifications and everything else. And also have some organization. There's a lot of ways to organize Discords, chat channels, art channels, things like that, like different media channels. I have mine set up that way, but you can do a lot of different things with it for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's not an immediate step for me.
Section.
Yeah, that's not an immediate step for me in ranking of what you should do to get your Twitch together. I mean, I think that the ranking for me, create your brand, create your design for your brand, and then activate, right?
Yeah.
Because activating is activating Twitter, Instagram, your YouTube, your Twitch, your everything.
Post on all your platforms.
Get activated. Create them and then go. Start your content cycling. Because it doesn't matter if you're anybody or nobody. You know, I have a solid, strict rule. I follow 50 people a day on Twitter and Instagram. Guaranteed. No matter what. Post or not. Because it is a great way to not only meet new content creators, but it's a great way to get your content a little bit more out there. And a lot of people, you'll see they do that. They follow a bunch of people, and then they do the unfollow spree. I'm not really about the unfollow spree. I'm more just like, I don't care how many people I follow. There's going to be people in there who have an idea that I might see one day that I think is a great idea, and maybe I collaborate with them, or I make my own rendition on it. Like, there's so many great and creative ideas out there that I think a lot of people can really learn from.
I pretty much follow any Valorant streamer that I find on social media because there are so few of them. Like there is a lot, but like having them come up on like my For You page, like 1 out of every 10 TikToks.
Yeah, you gotta
be
like you gotta be a strong
like,
person.
Definitely like Valorant, hot girl, Valorant, like something else. Photography.
So let's talk about your Valorant, your Teach Tuesdays. Obviously, playing competitively in a game is important to you, and so do you feel like that's something that you just like, instead of doing monetary giveaways, like that was like a way of giving back to the community, or how did you view like starting that, or why that was important to you?
I'm a good teacher, but the thing about Teach Tuesdays is that you find a lot of people that think they want to learn the game and then realize how involved it is and then don't really want to learn the game anymore. That's mostly like the younger people, I feel like that happens the most with. But
me included.
Did I see it as a way to give back? Yes, because if you look on Fiverr, like the cheapest one I saw, I think was like $20 for like 30 minutes or something. It might have changed from the last time I saw it, but Yeah, I don't think I would ever pay, or I mean I'd like advertise myself to be like, hey, $50, 30 minutes. Like, no, I enjoy teaching people, because Valorant is a very tough game to learn, and there like are a lot of people that come from, especially these days, battle royales, and they're just staring at the floor, looking for loot, or fucking wanting to learn the details of the floor so they can draw it in their head. I don't know, but just teaching is fun in some cases, and some cases it kind of sucks because you meet people that like don't really. You could tell that they're not as into it as you are. But
Or they think
that,
they're better
like,
than it.
After the session, they're supposed to be like gods or something. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I've taught you the fundamentals, and now honing in those fundamentals and then moving on to more advanced stuff is the next step.
Yeah, it's not practicing 1,000 punches, but one punch 1,000 times, man. That's really what it is in hammering it down. And I think that I have that patience more now with Apex than I did with Valorant. And I think that's basically because of what my biggest issue is with Valorant, which is its community. It has a very hard community that's a bit different, than anything I've ever experienced. When you play Apex with randoms, one thing that you'll rarely ever get is toxicity. Mostly you'll get people with no mics. But if people have mics, they're usually like, hey man, what's going on? How are you doing? Like, they're usually pretty normal people. But in Valorant, you get in, you're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, N-word, 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 and then they pick Raze and then blow up their team the entire time. And you're like, okay, like, so cool. Like, this is what's going on. And I think that puts a terrible taste in a lot of people's mouth, especially when people get frustrated. And I guess this is a question worth asking you. Let's say I'm somebody who's hard stuck bronze and I just can't get out. When I queue into a game, I have these teammates that are leaving all the time. If they're not leaving, they're toxic. If they're not toxic, they're just bad. They don't know how to play. And I'm facing against people who just seem way out of their caliber. What's my ticket out? Like, what is my way to start to see progress if I feel like I'm working on things myself, but the game is beating me up?
So when I play in lower lobbies, to help friends or whatever, the biggest thing that you can do to combat that is try to be the IGL in that situation. Do not feed into it. Just be as passive as possible with it, because like it's definitely something that I've seen. It's definitely something that I deal with for sure. But what I've seen that helps me the most is if you take the initiative and show the team that, like, all right, if you do this and then it fucking works, they realize that, like, okay, like, that was fun. Like, we absolutely just rolled them, and they want to keep, like, going from that. So, like, if you can come up with, like, one good play on bind to, like, kind of show the team that, and just kind of, like, maybe think of, like, a couple more as, like, the game progresses, like, that. And don't play the same site like fucking like everybody does. Like, have your team move around, tell them that they should move around, even if it's going well. Like, the attacking team is always going to be adjusting subconsciously either way. Like, you'll win on defense, and then all of a sudden it flips because the attacking team has learned the weak point. Even if you don't see it, like, something needs to change, and the only thing that you can change is moving your players to different sites. So being as, like, obviously you can't really converse with the people that are super aids, like, right off the rip, right?
Yeah, man,
there's no reasoning with certain people, but
it's
the
so crazy too. You're a real human, and they literally get on a game and want to throw 40 minutes of their own life away just to be toxic, and it's like,
because they don't understand how valuable time is yet. They're kids.
I've seen some adults who are the worst.
Oh, I
for sure. But it's also, like, I get what you're saying.
More or less, it comes back to the same point. At least I think. Yeah. But if you can be as, it takes a fucking metric ton to tell me for like me to clap back and be like, you know what, you're a piece of shit. I'm just gonna meet you.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Like, you gotta be toxic as fuck for me to do that to you.
Oh yeah.
Because I want, like, I feel good about being an IGL and then showing the team that we could win, because I get a lot of compliments from it too. Like, we lost this one game. I think it was like 5-13. We didn't really have a chance. Like, I think I 1v4'd twice that game in diamond lobbies, and one guy was like, "Hey, DrLogicall, I just want to say that the way that you played was like super methodical, and it was really awesome seeing you play, and I just want to tell you that was a really nice time playing with you." I've never gotten a compliment like that before. That was like my best one. But like, that is literally the main reason why, because like I've gotten like, hey, like, pointing at me specifically, "You did a really good job, like, thanks for playing, like, whatever, blah blah blah." And you know, sometimes they frame requests, sometimes they don't, but it's definitely something that I pride myself on, because that is I really enjoy doing.
I noticed that about you too, in this really funny way, and I think I think nobody would understand unless they watched your gameplay. But like, you're not, I don't know how to say this. Like, you're not a Budkiss who can just go in and kill people, right?
No.
Like, you're not born with like insta flick lock ability, right? But
unless I have to be, but
like,
that,
I will say
it only
this
happens when it like turns on.
The difference is this: you're also very much so not somebody at all who freaks out under pressure. I watch you and 4 people are pushing you, and it's like almost like you could see like a task list of like, okay, address this, then address this, then address this, then address this, and it's like you're going through like steps in like somebody handed you an instructions guide, like, here's how you play this round. You're like, okay, step 1, look this way, step 2, and like, I watch it and I think like, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, fucking, oh shit,
Swing.
where do I look like? Where do I look? And I think that's like the total difference. Like, you're like, when watching you, you're someone who is very technical. You're not someone who was just born with the ability to get to diamond off their shooting alone. You were someone who got there through hard focus, attention, hard work, and you're sharp.
I pride myself on being methodical and trying to. I will take the easy fight 1,000% of the time. Like, for example, one of the ranked games I played yesterday, it was a 1v1 situation. I knew the Sage was going to go CT to rotate. Like, so I was on defense, she was on offense, she was going to go plant. I heard her coming, and I knew that she had her knife out because of how quickly she was going. And so instead of like possibly her seeing me, I backed up around the corner, and as soon as she was approaching C, it was on Haven, I came out and I just shot her in the back of the head.
Yeah. And that's literally all it is.
I would rather take that fight 100% of the time than swinging in that corner and letting her see me.
True. Because there's a lot of people who've lost that fight, and they kick themselves in the shins. They're very upset. They went to that level and they regret it every single time. It's very, very upsetting. I do that all the time. I mean, I think that like there is that like pressure of like the clip, basically. Like, that's what I always call it. It's like that build up where you're like, like, you know, they're right there. If I just turn, I might be able to swing and do this thing. And it's like, you're just like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit here. Oh wait.
It's like two sides of the coin. You're either taking like the extreme clip of like, you know, like flick, or you take the other approach,
smooth, calm,
like,
collected.
How can I be methodical about this? And I think there was a Shroud clip that was pretty recent. It wasn't a 1v3. His teammates were on A, but he was solo holding B site with an op on bind. And like the Raze came out and like Raze ulted, and like he was able to just like win that whole fight with like an operator and like a grenade and a fucking classic. And like the way that he played it wasn't quick. It was exactly what we're talking about. It was a methodical type of gameplay. And like that
unfortunately, Shroud was also born with both. He has the
he can do both for sure.
Exactly.
But in this scenario, it was definitely more methodical for sure with the way that he played, and that's definitely how I pride my gameplay for sure.
It's so funny
Because
that he is both.
I can't just I don't like swinging out and going against a zoomer that has fucking 50 ms.
Yeah.
How'd
you feel about Shroud's comment about Apex being a real gun game as opposed to like Valorant and other things like that?
Well, he thinks Valorant's a great game, but he thinks that as for Battle Royale, he'll never categorize both together in like the same sentence. They're just different games. I know that for sure. But as
he was on clip saying something like, "Oh, I've been playing Warzone Valorant. I forgot what it's like to play a game where you actually have to aim and hit your shots." And I think that was I think that was the difference, because Valorant does have this almost inorganic like you have to understand your spray patterns, you have to understand how the guns are gonna shoot, as opposed to like having a gun that has built-in recoil and controlling it a bit differently. Because in Valorant, you could control a gun's physical recoil, but there's the imaginary recoil where the bullets still go random spaces, right?
So it's after the 8th shot on the Vandal, and I don't remember what it is on the Phantom, but it's random after that.
Even
like
if the
like
even if the
totally
crosshair
random.
even if the crosshair is right on. Whereas if you took a gun like the Flatline from Apex and you just shoot the Flatline, it's gonna go it's gonna start just going crazy, and you have to manually keep that center. But if you're center, it's gonna hit every time.
There is spray patterns in Apex.
There is 100%. Yeah.
It obviously the difference is where your crosshair is in Apex is where your aim goes. I don't think, as you can see from us playing yesterday, like playing a shooter and translating it over to another game is no problem for some people, but obviously it's harder for others. I think I'm lucky in how my shooting ability is, but like at the end of the day,
is your mic set up stereo?
You can click heads. What was that?
Is your mic set up stereo?
Is my mic set up stereo?
Go to the other side of your mic and talk.
No, it's set up cardiac.
Okay, I was gonna say, for some reason when you move, I hear you in different ears. I was like, it was really tripping me out for a second.
Hear me over here, right?
Exactly, literally, and that's why it was freaking me out, because I was like, did my headphone die? Like, what's going on? I was like, I'm so sorry. That's such a weird distraction, but it was like I heard it earlier, and I was like, oh, my headphones probably just messed up, and then I was like, wait, no, my headphones are fine. This guy's pranking me. But no, I think that Apex and Valorant have their own spot. I think I agree with you. Apex is the best battle royale that exists.
Absolutely.
But I think that
I don't know. Have you tried CS's battle royale?
No, they have one. I imagine it's not that great.
Exactly. Oh, they have one. Exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't really imagine that. That's too good.
It's not great.
I've played VR battle royales, and those are kind of fun too, because you actually have to like kind of move around and actually aim at people and actually like
Pavlov.
No, Pavlov doesn't have one. There's other ones though that do have them, and it's fun because you kind of
there's a creative in Pavlov that's BR.
I must not have played it. I've played a few different Pavlov ones. The craziest one was the Warzone Gulag. There is actually a 1-for-1 perfect model port of the Warzone Gulag, and you are in it, like 3D rendered to a T, and it was unbelievable. Because you had to like 1v1 people, and it was frightening to be like
it's pretty sick.
In the actual ghoulie, man. The old shower one, not the new one where you're fucking chained up and stroked and ball gagged before your fucking fight. Like, sorry, I wanted to shoot someone, not play BDSM. I don't know what this is all about. It's fucking weird, but yeah. But no, I can't stop agreeing with all of your points, man. We did have another viewer question. This one was just from Jeep, and I don't know if anything else. I think we touched upon this a bit, but he asked if there was a game that you would love to play that you don't have, and I guess I'll tack on to that a little bit. Is there a game that you feel like is totally off the beaten path of your normal type that you think is fun or would think is fun? Yes. All right, let's hear it.
Resident Evil.
Yeah?
I will watch Resident Evil all day long. You catch me playing that shit, No shot. No shot you're catching me playing it. I hate the mobility. I hate how slow you fucking move. I hate how slow everything moves. Not because of like the added suspense to it, because that's what they're trying to do. I
Of
just
course.
like, if there's a zombie coming at me, I am sprinting.
Yeah.
Not like this, like,
This is the slow little backpedal. The backpedal
for me. Not for me.
Yeah.
I will watch it 100% of the time, though. The new Village Resident Evil
Looks great.
looks unbelievable.
Well,
I've heard nothing but unbelievable things about it. Overwhelmingly positive, off the rip on Steam. Like, just such a good game. But
I put over 800 hours into Resident Evil 5. I loved that game. It was phenomenal. I loved it.
Yeah, I cannot get into it.
I don't blame you.
Get into that type of shooter.
I just wonder if this one has that same Resident Evil 5 treasure hunting system, which I enjoyed so much. It was
They
very.
all do. So you can get a lightsaber at the end of this one, but
Oh
after, like,
shit.
after like 200 or 300 hours or something.
Yeah, you have to play a lot. In the old Resident Evil, there's gems hidden across the map that you have to shoot down. You don't even have to collect them, like physically walk over them. As soon as you like shoot them, it counts as like basically the collection of them.
Okay.
And there was certain maps that you could farm that you keep running the same level over and over, and you can get like a lot of like currency. And at the end of that one, Chris Redfield got a minigun, and his like companion got a bow. And
yeah, there's like similar elements to that in Village, because that's kind of like that's across most Resident Evil games. I don't know if 5 is the only one you've really played, but out of all of the ones that I've watched, they reward you for playing the game a lot. Like, you can get an RPG out of 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's the one with the bounty guy that fucking just kind of walks around that you can't really kill.
No. The Resident Evil 5 has the minigun and the bow.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Bounty guy. Does he?
It's the giant guy in black that just fucking walks around, and if he punches you twice, you're dead, and you can't kill him.
No. Everyone's killable in 5. It must be 6. In 5, the hardest ones were these guys. I don't even remember their name, the character name, but we used to have a nickname for them. But they had giant miniguns in their back, and they'd go like, ooh, and they'd like, and they were like, oh my god, like it was to the point, and that's what I miss about gaming a lot too, is you know, like, they weren't soft on you. Like, if you peeked them, you died. Like, it wasn't like you had to actually like play and manipulate and do things. But
Resident Evil is a hard game.
Yes, but once you got like the bow and the minigun at the end, you could one shot him. Like it was like it was you got to play for fun. You got to actually like enjoy it. But I will say, one thing I enjoyed was when you got the bow and the minigun, the final boss had its own mode that was harder because you had the bow and minigun, and you had to like continuously.
So it changed the fight a little bit and made it
exactly
interesting.
Yes, which I thought was good.
Yeah, so that's generally the same thing across the board with most of the Resident Evil games. So if that is something you are interested in, I know that Resident Evil usually delivers that for its audience.
I love it, man. It's good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the game I would pick.
Well, Ty, I think we are nearing the end here. When I end, you don't have to leave immediately, but we are nearing the 2-hour mark, just 7 minutes shy of it, and I can't thank you enough for being my guest, man. You know, I know I had a couple of guests different, but I wanted to get you on. I understood your pressures, though, and you know, when I heard that you were kind of done, I was like, you know what, this is probably a really great time to have him. I had another guest lined up. I kind of feel bad I canceled it. We won't talk about that. But I sent you that message when I was debating it. I was in my head. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to ask Ty, like, hey, you want to be my guest? And you were like, yeah. I was like, fuck yeah, this works perfectly. So we set it up, man. But I'm honestly thankful, you know, and you know, congratulations, obviously, on all of your successes. You know, the new job, your stream itself, the teaching, and
you too, and
how much more you're going to be able to do soon, man. You're going to be able to.
What are you at, like 350 subs now?
Nah, we're not counting. We're counting everyone. No, I'm good. Yeah, thank you. But you know, I mean, it's you know, cyclical. What's successful for me is successful for you, is successful for Dre, is successful for me. It's like, I can't imagine one of us is going to get ahead and be like, you know what? Fuck those guys. Yeah, fuck them. So I'm really glad to have you here, too. And very well received. We had a lot of people stop by, so that was really cool. I seen chat moving on the chat panel a lot. I didn't really get into it too much, but that was awesome. You can find Ty on Twitter at the same DrLogicall 2 L's. You can find him on Instagram, same thing. Twitch, same thing. TikTok, please. At the same thing, of course. Your editor's doing wonderful recently as well, too. Love that guy.
Thank you.
He's killing it, man. How'd you meet him, even?
He is a friend from... So he lives in Boston area, I think. And he came down to Virginia for my friend's birthday. And that's how I met him.
Oh.
But yeah,
Wow.
he's a Rocket League and League player. He's got over like 1,000 hours. He was like top 500 for Rocket League, and at his like peak, and now he just plays in like champ lobbies.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the time. And for League, he played League really serious years ago, but has like tons of fucking hours in League, plays like every role, and is pretty I don't know if he ever like grinded rank in that or just played it for fun, but yeah, those are the two games that he absolutely dominates in.
Got to be a real special person to grind League ranked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be a real kind of person.
I'm not sure if he did or not, but he is yeah, he's very good at editing and very good at the games that he plays for sure.
I can tell. And like I said, you guys can check out his edits on TikTok at DrLogicall, 2 L's at the end. Don't make the same mistake I did the one time I told him his account was banned. I apparently typoed it, and his account was very not banned. It was still very much there. But thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate it. And you guys can rewatch this VOD. It's going to be going on the YouTube at Flex Chapman TV. Soon you're going to have a YouTube channel set up, right? Or do you have that going?
I have
Soon?
it. It's 9 Lives Enterprise.
9 Lives Enterprise. Okay, yes, your community, and that's his Discord too, so you guys can check it. Comtic's gonna check out the TikTok. I appreciate you, Com. Falcon Evero sent you. Glad to see it, love. Guys, have a phenomenal rest of your night. I don't think I'm gonna be doing a second stream until later on tonight. I still have some issues going on with Raid, so we're not sure about the sponsor stream. We're gonna see about that. Definitely stay tuned in the Discord because I'll make sure I let you guys know. In the meantime, love and appreciate you guys. And we'll see you on the flip side. Take it easy.
Bye, guys.